while we're on Luke Cage,
Yes.
let's talk about the new trailer they have released. I think this is something we've talked about on the podcast before, which was about how important music is going to
Mm.
be
Hmm.
to the Luke
Hip hop
Cage.
record, I believe it was, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah,
with a,
so
Comic Con wash up, yeah.
they've released a 2 minute video, sort of trailer, but with mostly footage we've seen before, kind of to express the importance of music to it all. And it's got people like Method Man on this video, and the music supervisor is a guy called Adrian Young, who explains how they're really approaching the season in terms of the soundtrack. And he says some really cool stuff. I mean, I'm not a hip hop guy. I don't know that scene at all. But I'm a big fan of a strong concept, and the way they're coming out with talking about this, it sounds really interesting. And that is that they treat each of the 13 episodes as a hip hop album, and they choose all songs to obviously help tell that story. And each song is named after. Each episode is named after a Gang Starr song. So it sounds like they're putting a lot into this idea, and to me, I'm really interested. I don't know what you guys think of it.
I'm buzzing for this.
Yeah.
It's a new idea. Again, like you, not a big hip hop fan, but I can appreciate it, and I can appreciate the way they're going with it, and the fact that the amount of time and effort that goes into putting an album together and telling the right story. If they can do the same with each episode, and then each episode feeds into the series and tells its own story, it's going to add quite a different tone to the way it runs. I mean, hip hop music's definitely got its own feeling anyway, which ties in really well with Luke Cage as a character. But I think it's going to add a hell of a lot to the series. We've seen music done well before. We've seen music done in the Suicide Squad method before, where it seems to be overused. This seems to be splitting from no music to Suicide Squad and saying this is the focus. This will tell the story.
Yeah.
Not we're going to create tone by using this, but the music is there to complement it, and it's to remind you what tone we're going for. And I'm excited for it.
Me too.
definitely, like it's like you're saying, it is definitely from concept up. They've built it like this, similar to what Guardians of the Galaxy, probably even more so than Guardians of the Galaxy. Like it is, this was like the showrunners come in, is like, okay, let's approach this like this, and then everyone's come around this idea and gone like, all right, we'll build it up. And like you said, it's not like Suicide Squad where it's like, fuck, everyone liked that trailer with those two pop songs we put in, and let's give Harley this song and this song and this song and this song. Oh, let's have House to the Rising Sun here, and no, it's obviously going to be like, okay, this is happening. Thematically, it feels like this song. Yeah, like it feeds each other rather than one directing the other. If that makes sense.
Like it's part of the narrative, and
yes,
and hip hop is a really, from what I do know of that music, it's very good at telling stories. A lot of the hip hop songs I know, they tend to be very narrative in and of themselves. They're always about something, and albums can be a whole story, like concept albums that are built around a certain theme, and everything feeds into it. And the idea that people who are used to kind of making that music are trying to help tell this story, and the fact that Luke Cage, it's set in Harlem. It's the first kind of big African American project that Marvel are doing, and they're taking it really seriously, and they're giving it a lot of reverence to the source of that, and how best to kind of explore the heritage. And this just seems like a really sort of strong idea as to how to do that, or one of the ways to do that.
And the show looks awesome.
I'm just gutted that I don't know enough about hip hop music to get everything they want me to get out of it, because I'm going to miss so much.
Yeah, definitely.
But for people who are into that scene, this is going to be a really special show, like, to people. People who love that music, and people who grew up on this music, or
sure.
from those backgrounds, this is really going to connect with fans on a level that other things just don't.
I think this could be a bigger hit than I think Marvel are expecting, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, if this gets done properly and as well as it should be, like, maybe not as much as Stranger Things hit, but probably I'm gonna say it's probably like it has the potential to be bigger than Daredevil and Jessica Jones. Like,
Definitely.
it feels more far-reaching already. Like, people who don't really talk about Daredevil or Jessica Jones or any of Netflix stuff, like, oh, that Luke Cage. Like, there's a few people who I know, like, who are like, Scott, what do you think of Luke Cage? Like, it's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like,
It's a safe assumption
already
that
happening.
everyone who watches Jessica Jones and Daredevil will be watching.
We'll watch Luke Cage, yeah.
And this is going to pick up a whole new tranche of viewers who've not been interested until now and are bought in just mainly by the trailer.
Yeah.
Which is why I really hope they set up Danny Rand in this. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
really hoping for that.
Daredevil's probably my favourite character if I had one. And Jessica Jones, A-List is like my favourite she's my favourite new character from the last 10-15 years. So those series I was well into from the very beginning. Luke Cage, he's appeared in some books that I've read. I've not
He
got
appeared
like
in the Spider-Man comic this week.
Yeah, but he's also like he was in the New Avengers books that Bendis wrote for like fucking 10 years. It was always someone that I was reading sort of as part of a team, but I've never had like a Luke Cage series that I followed or anything like that. So I don't know the character that well. I don't know his the kind of villains he deals with that well, the kind of problems he faces that well. And as a series, I've not been like, yeah, Luke Cage from the beginning. But not everything is for me. Like, they should be aiming at broader audiences, people that aren't the 30-year-old white guy who, you know, I've got a limited scope. I mean, there are a lot of us, but I'm not the be-all end-all, and it's just nice to see them targeting other audiences, people who haven't really had the same amount of characters that they could connect with in the past. So whilst, like you say, Alex, the other side of that coin is that we won't get it as much, I'm sure we will still understand why it's great. But there's people out there for a change who are different to us and will be thinking, oh, I get this on a different level, which is great.
Yeah, the whole not getting it all isn't necessarily. I mean, it's definitely not targeted at the creators. It's targeted at me. I'm annoyed at myself.
Oh no, I'm
not gonna appreciate all the hard work and time and effort that's going into making this just right.
Yeah.
But like you said as well about targeting new audiences, it's just like what we discussed last week with the Runaways series as well.
Yeah.
They're bringing in younger viewers to join on to the fandom, and the only way it can go is better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if they keep pushing like this.
This obviously, hopefully, this puts us like Black Panther in a very, very strong position. This like
definitely, yeah. They obviously treat everything they do with respect, and come at it from the right sort of place, rather than a cynical direction of how do we cash in on this group of people.
It feels like
it's done with collaboration with people who understand all that sort of stuff. Done with like love and the respect it deserves. So you can't. Really
feels like there
them.
is that mandate, doesn't it? It's like, look, we have to do this right.
Yeah.
And well, like I still stand by. That's why obviously there's that infighting thing with the TV guys. Why Inhumans didn't happen, but there is that. We just don't have the right thing for it, so we're not doing it.
If we can't do this properly, let's just not do it.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, we can do it on TV. We've already got an established grounds for it. We can try it on TV. And it's like, yeah, it's not going to be as big a spectacle, but done right, it doesn't need to be.
Yeah,
it's the story it's the white story, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, leading on from this,